everybody. Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Dr. Gina. Thanks for joining us this morning. We invite you to hop in our conversation on YouTube, Getter, and Rumble. It is time now to take the political pulse of America. The beat today, former President Barack Obama furious with then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi after she quickly endorsed Kamala Harris, remember those moments, to succeed Joe Biden in the 2024 election. Now, according to a new book by ABC News' Jonathan Karl, this is what was going on behind the scenes. This book claims Obama and Pelosi had privately agreed not to back any candidate right away, believing the parties should hold an open convention. But Pelosi went ahead and threw her support behind Harris within 24 hours of Biden's withdrawal, prompting an angry call from Obama, who asked, "What did you just do?" Obama eventually endorsed Harris days later alongside former First Lady Michelle Obama, saying they were proud to stand behind her. For more, let's bring in David Brody and Terrence Bates. David, here's the thing. Little too late yet again. Had Democrats had this fight in the public eye at that moment, I can honestly tell you, I think things could have gone differently for them. I'm not saying they would have, and I'm certainly no election prophet. But what I am saying is the American people, as Congresswoman Van Dyne said, there has never been such a distinction, such a definition between the two parties, one who just does not care about the average person and the other who does very distinctly care about the average American. Had they had this conversation, David Brody, in an authentic manner, being transparent with their own voters who should matter to them, right? I think they would be in a different place today than they are, at least in terms of standing with their own voters. What do you think, David?
1,000,000%. And not only their party, but the Republic writ large.
Yeah.
Right. You know, our country would have been better for it. And you mentioned a key word. You actually said two words there, authentic. I forgot the other word, but it was a similar word. He was not being authentic. He was being authentic in private, but not in public. And it makes me think of President Trump, right? I mean, imagine if you replace Trump with Obama, or with, if you put Trump in Obama's spot here, Trump would have been going to the mics, been talking to people about, hey, we can't do it this way. This is ridiculous. What's Nancy doing? You know, in other words, he would have just been out there. And that's just so beautiful to see. But, you know, this is what they do. They wanted to do this in secret. And that's exactly anti-republic, if you will, T. Bates, and anti-transparency.
And that's why. Agreed. All of those things agreed, and that's why they failed. And we heard these rumblings even during the campaign that, you know, President Obama wasn't on the same page with everyone else. But like you said, they should have been transparent. It should have been front and center. And leadership is taking a hard stand, even when it may not be popular with everyone else around you. And that would have been the time to do it. But that's also part of the reason, in addition to the fact that they just had a flawed platform, why Democrats lost the election.
But this is what makes people cynical. This is what makes Americans cynical, not just about Democrats, but about when Republicans pull this stuff and they do things back channel and we aren't able to see it. That's what Trump has done so beautifully, is laid out an example of just being upfront, being honest, being transparent on the things he can be honest and transparent about. And I think that has trickled down not just into our body politic, but I think into our corporate approach to things in terms of business and how corporations handle things. And even in terms of our own families, I find myself holding myself to a different level of accountability with my own children because of the example that President Trump has set. It's not to say that he needs to tell us what happens in the skiff, right? That's not what we're saying. But Trump would have said, hey, I had a conversation with Nancy Pelosi and we agreed, and she violated that without talking to me. That's what he would have said. Obama didn't have the courage for that. They don't respect their voters enough to do that, and the voters are getting the message loud and clear.
Yeah, and here's the thing. One thing Obama did, right? He talked about hope and change, and everybody's like, well, he was authentic when he talked about change. Well, hold on for a second. He talked about change, but he made basically moldy asparagus look like candy. He sugarcoated this thing. He was not authentic with the American people about his rules for radicals and the Saul Alinsky approach because he knew that wouldn't sell. So this idea that he was authentic to begin with is ridiculous. All right. Well, thankfully, guys, that endorsement didn't matter at all. And we, of course, know how the election went, and praise God for that. Since President Trump took over, this administration has rolled back many of those Biden-era changes, including the DEI initiatives that were so unpopular. But it doesn't look like the left, honestly, is going to learn its lesson anytime soon. Because joining us now is the author of the new book. It's called White Lives Under Attack. Black America says no to the left's DEI, CRT, and politics of hate. Let's welcome to the show, to American Sunrise, influencer, minister, public speaker, Reverend Jordan Wells. Reverend, good morning. Congratulations on the book. It just came out, and I got to tell you, it really does take a hard look at the bias against white Americans in America today, and that is going to make the left flip out. So tell us more, please. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you guys for having me. Yes, there's a very bad situation happening. And of course, as a Black person, I get attacked because they say, well, why would you be defending uh, white people? And I'm saying that as a Christian, I have to defend all people because Black lives are not the only lives that matter, right? And so I believe that this anti-white sentiment is not good for the country, right? Because the people on the left, whether it's Gavin Newsom or whether it's Democrats who play this racial politics where they get Black people very angry and upset and they use the race card and it's race, 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 is another form of Marxism, which I talk about in the book. Marxism, divide the races, divide the classes to get them hating each other, right? And we talk about Obama in the last segment. Obama started this, and I talk about that in the book as well. This racial hatred in our country started with Obama. He was definitely the president of change, and he fundamentally, he said it with his own words, wanted to change America, and he did. He was the first president to demonize police, to demonize white people, and it started a chain where our country was healing. And I talk about that. They act like this country is so systematically racist. Obama won a lot of the white vote. He won a lot of different. He built a big coalition, and it was and everybody in this country was celebrating. Even if you were on the Republican side of the aisle, there were people even on the Republican side that said, "Wow, this is amazing. America has come a long way." And then all of a sudden, we're here now where it's this I hate white people. White people are evil. We got Zoran running in New York, where he's talking about tax white people more than other people. We got Democrats talking about, white people should be, or basically, we got Ilhan Omar saying that the white man is the worst thing to happen to this country, even though she's married to somebody white. It is complete and total insanity, and it is the reason our country can never heal unless we get rid of these DEI, we get rid of all this racial politics, and we focus on a meritocracy. Focus on what makes this country great, which is that you thrive based off your achievement and based off your work ethic, and not based off the color of your skin.
Based on your premise, what do you see the end game being then in this whole idea of being anti-white, if you will?
Well, I think it's a reverse racism, and I talk about in the book that there's a reverse racism happening, right? Where the left and leftism and Black hatred have partnered together, right? Where you see these leftists in places like Chicago arguing for Black people. We can't have police here, and while they live in the suburbs, right? They're mad at Trump for getting rid of crime in Black areas. So white liberalism is partnering together with this kind of Black Marxism that we see in BLM, which the founders were Marxists, open Marxists, and we see this coming together to divide the country. Which I think the main goal of all of this is to divide America. It's to tear it down from within. It's to get people to hate the country, to think that America is systematically racist. America is an evil country. The founders were evil. The very big, everything about our nation is wicked. So if you really believe that, and if you instill that into a mind of young people, young voters, right, that are the future, and you get them to think that the country is fundamentally evil from everything about it, then they can tear it down. They can rebuild it in their own image. They can rebuild it in the name of socialism. What
Yeah.
Mandami said, where we can tax the white man as is this Marxist thing of oppressor and oppressed, right? The white man is the oppressor, and we are everybody else is the oppressed. It's their fault. We can take all their money, redistribute wealth, seize the means of production, give it all to the people that are poor, give it all to the black people, give it to reparations to everybody, even if they didn't have
Hmm.
slaves. In California, they just started giving reparations away, which California was never a slave state, right? But we're going to take white people's money, the money they work for, we're going to give it to people who don't deserve it, give it to illegal immigrants. And yeah, but that'll
Wow.
solve the world's
Yeah.
problem. But
Wow.
all it really doing is destroying our nation.
Yeah, and who are white people, by the way? Because, a lot of people wouldn't know that people that look just like me might have some blood in their background that isn't exactly all white. Right. I never know how they do this. Reverend Jordan Wells, we certainly appreciate you being with us and lending us your perspective and for your courageous voice on something so important. Thank you.
What was the name of the book again? Give our viewers it again, because it's a fascinating read.
Yes, well, name of the book is White Lives Under Attack. You can get this book on Amazon, but this book really deals with the fundamental issue of racism and also leftism destroying our country.
Thank you again. All right.
Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your perspective.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right, coming up, New York Socialist Mayor candidate Zohran Mamdani is walking back a story he told about his aunt on 9/11 and changing a few of the details. It's nice if you could do that. I guess if you're a Democrat, you could just say whatever you want and then just say, oh, whoops, that didn't really happen. Well, we're going to tell you what did really happen. Full story when American Sunrise returns in 2 minutes, 2 seconds.